There's a big story in the Daily Mail and also a broadcast exclusive for GB News, and this is a big one. Chagos Islanders have made a last-ditch appeal to President Trump to block Sir Keir Starmer's £30 billion Chagos surrender, which will hand the islands, the British overseas territory, to Mauritius. So, American panel here, if you're not too familiar with this, basically it's British land, which is crucial to national security for the US and the UK, and we are paying Mauritius to take it off our hands. So it's the equivalent of you giving away Hawaii to Mauritius and you paying Hawaii for the privilege.
And as I understand it, Ben, Mauritius has never possessed this.
They never had it in the first place. People say, oh, the Mauritius are taking the islands back. They never had the damn islands in the first place. In a letter seen by GB News, the First Minister of the Chagosian government in exile has warned the UK government's deal would put at risk the US-UK military base on Diego Garcia. He also warns that a critical military outpost could come under the influence of China. He's written this letter. It's on your screen now, viewers, if you're watching on television. This is a TV exclusive. He's written this letter to President Trump this weekend. As I understand, it will be dropping on President Trump's desk in the Oval Office tonight or tomorrow. And he's basically begging President Trump to put a stop to this deal. And in return, he's saying, we will name an island after you, President Trump, amongst other things. We'll name an island after you if you can put a stop to this deal. Joining me in Washington is my panel. It says Chair of Republicans Overseas, Greg Swenson, but it's not. It's Matthew Hurt and Laurie Watkins.
That's some other guy.
Yeah, someone else.
Can I ask you, playing completely ignorant here, and I think it's probably important for your viewers too, why has the UK decided to do this? Why would they do something like this?
Let me get Christo Foufas, journalist and broadcaster, live in London to answer that. Christo, good evening, good morning.
What a tee up.
Please explain to our American friends what the hell we are doing, giving away sovereign British territory and paying Mauritius to take it off our hands for. What's going on?
This interruption is brought to you by ExpressVPN and their New Year deal. New Year, new VPN, and a huge saving of up to 80% if you act now. You're busy planning how to get in shape, but the hackers are planning how to get into your accounts. ExpressVPN locks down your connection so you can start the year protecting your data. This offer ends on the 7th of January, so scan the QR code or click the link in the description now.
Oh, thanks for that question, because I don't know why we're doing it. No one seems to know why we're doing it. I mean, you're quite right. You alluded to earlier when they were saying, look, we're returning it to Mauritius. That's been the line that's been parroted by our government. But you're quite right that Mauritius never actually had full control of these islands, and the Chagosians who actually reside on those islands, many of them have been exiled to Mauritius, and they want the chance to go back, and they don't believe that this is the right way forward. Many of those that still live on the Chagos Islands want to be under the control of the United Kingdom. Now, I mean, you may as well ask me the meaning of life than ask me the decision-making processes within 10 Downing Street, because I don't really understand why we have to give away these islands that no one asked. Mauritius didn't ask to have them back. And not only are we giving them back to Mauritius on a 99-year lease, we're paying, as Ben, you alluded to, £30 billion for the privilege. Now, of course, Mauritius is strategically aligned to places like China and Russia and all those sorts of places. So therefore, what this letter is pointing out, and it's a letter that has come from a gentleman by the name of Misli Mandaring. He's the First Minister of the Chagosian government in exile. And it's a brilliant letter where he's basically absolutely pleading with Donald Trump. And it's believed that perhaps Donald Trump isn't quite aware of the gravity of the situation, to say, look, this Diego Garcia base will no longer be under the jurisdiction of the United Kingdom and, of course, aligned to the United States. It will be under the jurisdiction of Mauritius. Now, that means that they will therefore have a lot of decision-making processes over this base, but also, crucially, Mauritius is part of the Pelindaba Treaty, which is the African nuclear weapon-free zone. So if there was ever a scenario where the Diego Garcia base would have to be used to launch any kind of nuclear attack, well, because of that treaty that Mauritius are a part of, they could block that happening. So he basically outlines all of these issues, outlines the strategic problems, and says, look, there is a really easy solution to this. give the Chagosians a say over their future because they want to stay aligned to the United Kingdom. Please, will you intervene because perhaps you're not aware of the gravity of this situation?
Yeah, and the letter says from this guy, Misley Mandarin, who is the First Minister of the Chagosian government in exile. Yes, they exist. He's the First Minister, Misley Mandarin. He says, I will say this plainly. My people are loyal to the United States and profoundly grateful for the base on Diego Garcia. Many of us would proudly support honouring you for securing its future, even to the point of naming an island to mark the moment America chose strength, fairness and long-term security over a short-term fix. Viewers, listeners, Laurie, Matthew, let me tell you what's going on here. Keir Starmer's best mate. So Keir Starmer's a lawyer. He's an international human rights lawyer before becoming Prime Minister. He also worked at the prosecution service. Anyway, he's a lawyer. All his best mates are lawyers. They all sit around North London dinner sets, drinking posh, expensive wine and talking about international law and how international law and international order should trump that of the British people and the British interest. Starmer's best friend, Philippe Sands, KC, King's Counsel, he was the chief lawyer going after Britain in defence of Mauritius. He represented Mauritius. He's a British guy, but he represented Mauritius against his own country because there was a IOC ruling, international court ruling, saying that Britain should hand the islands over to Mauritius some years ago. So instead of doing what President Trump would do and say, stuff international law, we're putting Britain first and we're not paying you a damn penny for it, Keir Starmer has caved in to his Bezzy mate and the international ruling by saying, yeah, you can have the Chagos Islands back, even if it puts Britain and the US at risk of national security threats, and we're going to pay you for the privilege. So it all stinks. It stinks. Could you imagine a deal where you're giving away Hawaii, Matthew, and the lawyer representing China, who's taking Hawaii, is, I don't know, Joe Biden's best mate?
Here's what I know, Ben. For 200 or 300 years, you had to fight to separate from Great Britain and the United Kingdom, and now you just give it away. You just give it away. We saw it, unfortunately, in Hong Kong. Of course, a long-standing agreement, and then we saw what happened in Hong Kong, and now we see it with the Chagos Islands. I do think this is a strategically important location for both Great Britain and the United States, and it makes no sense for, again, this government to surrender to, again, a territory or a country that has never possessed this island.
So question, after Keir Starmer loses, no longer is in office, right? Could Parliament come back like in the United States and potentially open investigations into this? And if they find wrongdoing, could it be reversed?
Yeah, why not?
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I think it absolutely stinks. Starmer's best friend...
Because it sounds like favoritism if, you know, his best mate is the one
Starmer's best mate representing a foreign interest in the seizure and the surrender of British territory.
And if you can follow the money, if he received any money from this, there you go.
Well, just to clarify, so I don't get sacked, Keir Starmer is acting without any wrongdoing. He's acting, as he should.
Just a hypothetical,
no wrongdoing
everybody.